Good evening, my dear friends, on this Monday evening. A bitterly cold, frosty Jack Frost is outside, but I hope in your hearts that you are warm and comforted by the presence of God's love for you. And it is good to have you round this table of love, where we come as brothers and sisters in service to love, in service to peace, to justice, integrity, and where we embrace the marginalized in our beautiful though troubled world. Let us begin by inviting you to light your candle with us for peace. And we light this light in the name of all names, our beloved Father, Mother, God Supreme, who creates life. In the name of the risen cosmic Christ, who loves life and who's called you to be here so that his love can touch you and set you free. In the name of the Spirit that is the love between the Father, Mother, God and their Son, who is the fire of life. In the name of Gaia and the goddess energy of God, who nurtures the divine in all life. In the name of all faith traditions and none, who are the children of God, our brothers and sisters, and in the name of spiritual diversity, on behalf of my brothers and sisters, of the Teo community of interfaith Franciscans who embrace all faiths, I welcome you to this table of love. Let us be still now. Let us relax. And let us just silently gaze at the flame that we have lit, and we place it on our altar. So we come into the name of love, and we come as a child of God. We come with hope in our heart, and we come with a trusting heart. So we come now and we invite you to relax and be still, and to use your most precious gift from God, the gift of free will, because you can choose to log in or log out. And your Father, Mother, God will not be displeased by you. They will go on loving you. I take the words to heart from our brother Gandhi, whose life, whose teachings have inspired my heart to love my God even more. And his words resonate with my Celtic Franciscan spirituality when he says, to find yourself, you must first lose yourself in the service of others. In a gentle way, you can shape the world. And we thank God for such a great spiritual teacher as our brother Gandhi. But I'm equally inspired by the words from His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, who says, the more you give, the more you receive. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater is our own sense of well-being. And he says, love conquers all. That is true. Love conquers all, especially in the face of evil. He says, cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease and opens our inner door. It helps to remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us the strength to cope with any obstacle we encounter. It is the principal source of success in life. And as we sit in the silence of our sacred space, we call on our Father, Mother, God Supreme. We call on Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, and we invite them into our heart. We invite our God to come and join us. And we invite our spiritual teachers, the Lord Buddha, Vishnu, Ganesh, Krishna, Jesus of Nazareth, Francis and Clare of Assisi, Thérèse of Lisieux, Bernadette of Subaru, Rumi, Osho, Mia Baba, Gandhi. And we also welcome the indigenous peoples, the martyrs who gave their lives for our freedom from ages past. Let us come now into the presence of absolute love, and let there be no fear. For fear is a tool of the evil force that seeks to destroy us. And many today have fallen prey to satanic forces that seek to alienate their heart from love. And I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to alert you to the great deception of this generation, where many are fooled into believing there is no such thing as satanic forces. I have encountered the satanic forces in my spiritual journey, both as a young monk and in later life. And the forces are counterproductive, for they seek to destroy the yearning in your heart for God. And they replace that love with hate, with fear and denial. They deny us the opportunity to face our greatest fears, to name and to bless them, and to call on a loving God to heal us. But the great deception today from the evil force is to convince us that we are not ill, and that we have no need of love or God. And many believe that. And many give lip service to God, but their hearts are controlled by the negative forces, or I would call them satanic forces, of pure evil. So let us not be afraid to step into our power, the power of God's love. And let us look evil and darkness in the eye and say, "Begone, in the name of the risen cosmic Christ. For I am a child of God, and there is no welcome for such forces of negativity in my heart, in my life, or in my spiritual path." us be still and let us come to the heart. And in the silence, let us listen for the voice of the Beloved, who speaks to all faiths, all children of God, not just Catholics or Christians, Jews or Muslim, Hindu or Sikh or Buddhist, but to every child of God. And you are a child of God. And if you are overwhelmed this evening, and there's fear in your heart, or maybe you've been put down by others, and you're living with low self-worth or low self-esteem, then let me play this to you, because the words are true, and the words are from the Christ who loves you. And I dedicate them to you, O beloved child of God. We are vortexes of light in this beautiful world, allowing the divine use each one of us to bring love and healing to those who are hurting.
that your loving is a miracle. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
And there you have the words. How can anyone ever tell you you are not beautiful in the eyes of God? Early this evening, I watched a disturbing report on a religion, an ancient religion now sweeping Mexico, to Sister Saint Death, where they offer human sacrifice. And it showed you a priest doing an exorcism, and his words were really disturbing. That many people today are in the grip of evil, pure evil. They sell their soul to the evil one, who seeks to take them from a loving relationship with a loving God through deceitfulness, through greed, through materialism, where the emphasis changes from being in love with a loving God who meets your needs, who provides your needs, but the deceit from the forces of darkness are real as the nose on my face. And as I explained at the beginning, I have met the forces of darkness as a young nursing monk, and it was disturbing, but I wasn't afraid. And I have encountered the forces of darkness in several individuals that were guided to me here over the last 12 years. And one of them had quite a nasty evil spirit here 7 years ago, where she had been taken over doing a course in shamanic studies in Ireland. In her naivety, she went hell for leather, full steam ahead, without coming from our heart. And the shaman was a disgrace, because he bedded all the women, convincing them that they would receive the gift of shamanic healing, and they fell for it hook, line and sinker, and each one became possessed by an evil presence. And I didn't know that until the day when we came to anoint her feet with the healing oils, and suddenly in front of several of my students we began to hear voices, and the smell was absolutely awful, vile. And then from the young lady's mouth came the most vitriolic, abusive language. And yes, I was quite frightened, but I stepped into the power of the Christ, and in the name of the Christ I commanded this evil to depart. But the reason why so many exorcisms today are being carried out by practitioners who say they're exorcists, but they are not a people of prayer or fasting. The forces of evil today are as real, and you must be aware of them, but not to be frightened of them. Because if you've surrendered your heart to Allah, Jehovah God, you have nothing to fear, providing you nurture that loving relationship with the divine. But one of the tricks the evil force plays on innocent individuals is to have them living in fear. 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 Denial. And to pretend that all is well and they have no need for spiritual healing from a loving God. So where there's yin and yang, light, day, night, dark, good, evil, we have to be prepared. That's why we're here, to nurture the divine within each other and to come into the presence of God with absolute trust, not in what our head tells us. If I listen to my head, I won't get out of bed because of the depression that I manage every day. And that's the reality. I have to scream at God to help me, even now, to help me get through the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. And sometimes, usually half an hour before I go live, a great sense of uncomfortableness, emptiness, disillusionment hits my heart. So I have to go outside and stand on the earth and call on the Goddess, call on the Christ, call on all the ascended masters to give me strength to overcome this feeling of real hate and step in love in front of this camera. So you see, none of us are exempt from attack. And that's why I thank God I'm part of a beautiful spiritual community of men and women who are not plaster cast saints. They're ordinary men and women who love God. And they share different beliefs, and that's even more better. Because as an interfaith Franciscan, you could say, I'm part Muslim, part Jew, part Hindu, part Buddhist, part Wiccan, part pagan. But in my heart, I know I belong to God. As you do. So let us come together now. Let us come and hold each other. Let us support one another as we come into the presence of the physician of our soul, the cosmic Christ. I would like you to relax now. I would like you to be comfortable and still. And as you sit there, take a deep breath and breathe in the love that God has for you. And in your out breath, say, thank you, God, for never giving up on me or those that I love and those I've prayed for. Now relax. And come with me back to the Bedouin tent on Mount Sinai. And there join your brothers and sisters who are sitting in a circle, holding the light for you. They are welcoming you. They are welcoming you home to your spiritual birthplace. And there, amongst your brothers and sisters, Abla, Eleanor, Elizabeth, Miriam, Teresa, Mary, Sue, Kedar, Karen, Paul, all the many beautiful people who give so effortlessly to keep our live stream channels alive against great forces of evil and darkness. They call you and they say, come, let us have a group hug. And when you're in that hug, you feel the power and the presence of selfless love. You feel a sense of belonging, that you're not a stranger, And suddenly you hear the angel trumpets announcing the presence of the cosmic Christ and the goddess energy, Isis, Gaia, Magdalena, Kuan Yin, and Mother Mary. And they are dressed resplendently, and they come up to you. They take you by the hand, and they bring you into the circle of the 12 vortexes of light, the Loricas in Celtic spirituality, and they perform a ritual with you. They dance. Yes, they're dancing to the canticle of the creatures, giving praise to Allah, to God, to Jehovah, to Yahweh, the Supreme. They give you a tambourine, and you're banging on the tambourine with joy, and the weight of fear and despair is leaving you. And suddenly you feel alive, alive, because you are in the presence of unconditional love. And your brothers and sisters form a circle of light around this circle. And as you go right ways, they go left ways, and there is singing and rejoicing in this inner circle of light. Singing you've never heard before. It is harmonious, it is healing, it is respectful. And they begin to shout out your name, and rose petals fall from the sky. The most beautiful colors flow to your feet, and you're dancing on a carpet of rose petals, and the fragrance is exhilarating. Relax now. You've come home to your heart, your teacher. Now listen to it. It doesn't condemn you. It applauds you. It doesn't reject you. It welcomes you. And it calls you by your name. And it calls you a beloved of God. Relax in that love now. Relax in the love that you are a child of God, and nothing and no one can harm you unless you give away your power. Be still now.